Hello students, today let us discuss the states of matter. It is a revision class. Whatever we have studied in our classroom, just revise it. There are three states of matter: solids, liquids and gases. In your lower classes you studied that solids have definite shape, definite volume. Liquids have definite volume but not definite shape, whereas gases do not have definite volume nor definite shape. The reason for this is arrangement of particles in three dimensions. In solid, close packing is there. Because of close packing, they have a definite volume and definite shape. Liquids have definite volume because intermolecular space in liquids is fixed. It is not going to change. So they have a definite volume, but within the vicinity the molecules are movable, they can change their position, so they have they do not have definite shape. Whereas gases do not have definite shape nor definite volume because they have very large gap among the particles. Intermolecular space is very large, so they cannot have a definite shape nor definite volume. Okay, next, temperature and pressure are the two factors that decides the state of a matter. Any matter which is in solid state, any matter which is in liquid state or in gaseous state, that will be depend upon, that will changes with temperature and pressure. As you change the temperature or as you change the pressure, there is change in the state. So temperature and pressure are the two factors which decides the state of a matter. Next, the state of matter under 1 atmospheric pressure and at 0 degrees Celsius temperature is called standard state of matter. We have standard state. Standard state nothing but the state of a matter at 0 degrees Celsius temperature and 1 atmospheric pressure. For example, each and every matter exists in solid state, liquid state and gaseous state. That is, the rocks can be converted into liquid rocks on heating. The liquid molten rocks can also be converted into vapors if we heat it to very high temperature. It means that a matter can be existing in three different states, but the standard state of matter is matter, that is rock, is solid because at 1 atmospheric pressure and 0 degrees Celsius temperature it is in the form of solid. In the same way, oxygen is in the form of gas because under 1 atmospheric pressure at 0 degrees Celsius it is in the form of a gas. So here the standard state of oxygen is gas and the standard state of rock is solid, and the standard state of any oils, groundnut oil, is liquid. So here the state of the matter at 0 degrees Celsius and 1 atmospheric pressure is nothing but standard state. Actually, the matter has two important factors, that is intermolecular forces and thermal energy. Whenever there is formation of a state, there is a competition between intermolecular forces and thermal energy. Intermolecular forces means the force of attraction or repulsion among the particles of a matter. That particles may be molecules, that particles may be atoms, that particles may be ions. So may be ions, but here intermolecular force is there. So here the particles must be molecules. So there is a competition between intermolecular forces and thermal energy. Already you know intermolecular force. Now I am going to explain thermal energy. Thermal energy means the energy because of temperature. Energy possessed by the particles because of temperature is nothing but thermal energy. Intermolecular forces, if they are attractive forces, always tries to bring the particles together, whereas thermal energy is nothing but kinetic energy of the molecules. So thermal energy always tries to move away from the particles. So intermolecular force, thermal energy, there is a competition or tug of war between these two. If intermolecular forces are very strong than thermal energy, then the matter exists in the form of solid. If thermal energy overcomes the intermolecular forces, then the matter is in the form of gas. That is, thermal energy, intermolecular forces are very important at a particular temperature and pressure to decide the state of a matter. Okay, next. The temperature at which three phases of matter coexist is nothing but triple point of matter. Here, example, triple point nothing but the temperature at which all the three phases of the matter coexist. It means at that temperature, solid state, liquid state and gaseous states are existing. That point is nothing but triple point of matter. For example, the triple point of water is 0.01 degree Celsius, that is at temperature 0.01 degree Celsius and pressure 4.58 mmHg. At this pressure, at this temperature, ice, water and water vapor are coexisting, and this point is nothing but triple point of water. The other two states of matter, that is plasma state and condensed state. Plasma state exists at very high temperature and it is exist in stars. The plasma state of the matter can be produced in the laboratory, but it is highly unstable during electric arc or during welding. The plasma state can be produced, but it is highly unstable. Immediately it combines with electrons, available electrons, and form atoms or molecules or neutral molecules. So that state is nothing but plasma state. In plasma state, what happens? The matter is in the form of ions. For example, oxygen. Oxygen atom, when it is in plasma state, it lost all the electrons and it exists as a positive ion, that is O plus 8, and 8 electrons are removed from the oxygen atom. So this is the form of this is the state of plasma. It means in plasma state the matter is in the form of ions and free electrons. Another state is condensed state. In condensed state, which is exist at low temperature, here atoms or molecules aggregate, they form a group and forms a big molecule. The individual atoms are losing their identity, and this type of matter is nothing but condensed state. The condensed state of matter exists in clouds. Clouds is an example for condensed state, whereas the matter exists in stars is an example for plasma state. Okay, next, the different types of intermolecular forces. The important intermolecular forces are dipole-dipole forces, dipole-induced dipole forces, dispersion forces. what is dipole, what is induced dipole, what is dispersion force. Already we discussed in our regular class, just I revise it. Dipole nothing but the molecule which is having positive pole and negative pole in it. HCl has a dipole because H carries a partial positive charge and Cl carries a partial negative charge, so we call it as a dipole. Whenever two dipole interact, whenever two polar molecules interact, there is a force of attraction. That force of attraction is dipole force. Strength of dipole force or magnitude of dipole force depends upon dipole moment of the molecule. Dipole moment already you learned, that is, it is the product of charge and the distance between the two charges in a molecule. So magnitude of dipole moment will decide the strength of attraction forces between two polar molecules. These forces also called as Keesom forces. Keesom is the scientist who found at first time. The interaction energy in polar stationary molecule means what is the interaction energy between two polar molecules when they are stationary, when they are at rest position, that is when they are in the form of solid position. Solid means the molecules are at rest. Their interaction energy is proportional to 1 by r to the power of 3, where r is the intermolecular distance. If the same molecules are in rotation, if they are in movement, then their magnitude, their interaction energy decreases, and it is proportional to 1 by r to the power of 6. Understood? I think you understood this dipole force. Dipole force present only in polar molecules, and strength of dipole force depends upon dipole moment of the molecule. If the molecules are at stationary, its interaction energy is proportional 1 by r3, whereas if the molecules are in rotation, if they are rotating, their interaction energy proportional to 1 by r to the power of 6. Second one, dipole induced dipole force. Dipole and induced dipole. It means one molecule is a polar molecule, another molecule is a non-polar molecule. Hydrogen is a non-polar molecule, HCl is a polar molecule. Whenever HCl and hydrogen come in contact, HCl will induce dipole in hydrogen molecule. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि हाइड्रोजन के अंदर कोई डाइपोल मोमेंट नहीं है, देयर इज़ नो पोलैरिटी इन हाइड्रोजन, उसके अंदर पोलैरिटी नहीं है, मगर HCl उसे ज़बरदस्ती पोलैरिटी प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है, और इस इफेक्ट को हम बोलते हैं इंडक्शन, एंड द डाइपोल प्रोड्यूस्ड इज़ नथिंग बट इंड्यूस्ड डाइपोल. Okay, the strength of force depend upon dipole moment of the polar molecule. If the polar molecule has higher dipole moment, then dipole induced dipole force is large. If the dipole moment of the molecule is less, dipole induced dipole force is less. And it also depends upon polarizability of non-polar molecule. Polarizability. Whenever a non-polar molecule come in contact with a polar molecule, how much polarity is developed or how much polarity is produced in a non-polar molecule, that ability nothing but polarizability. Polarizability, how much charges will be separated in a non-polar molecule, that is polarizability. This polarizability depends upon the size of the molecule. If the size of the molecule is large, then the polarizability of the molecule is more. It means it is easily polarized. For example, if you take chlorine molecule, non-polar molecule, bromine in molecule, non-polar molecule, whenever these molecules come in contact with a polar molecule, bromine has more polarizability compared to chlorine because bromine size is large. Nucleus is unable to hold the valence shell electrons, so the electrons will be separated, or the electrons will shift one side, so it will develop a negative and positive charge in bromine molecule more readily compared to chlorine molecule. Okay, next, interaction energy here also proportional to 1 by r to the power of 6. It means its value is also equal to a polar molecule which is rotating. Okay, next. Third one is dispersion forces, and it is also called as London forces. Dispersion means spreading, and this force exists among non-polar molecules. There is no polarity in the molecules. Whenever non-polar molecules are come in contact, because of repulsion among the valence shell electrons, valence electron of the second molecule are shifting to the other sides. Because of that, a polarity is developed, and this effect is nothing but dispersion, and the force of attraction nothing but dispersion force. The magnitude of London forces depend upon two factors: size of the molecule or complexity of the molecule. Second, geometry of the molecule. If size of the molecules, complexity of the molecules is more, dispersion forces are more. Already I told you, in case of bromine, because of large size, more shifting of electron, more charge separation. If the molecule is complex, it is not a simple one, then also dispersion is more. Dispersion of charges is more. Dispersion of charges will produce more dispersion force. Second one, geometry. Geometry of the molecule. Whether it is a open chain, whether it is having a branch chain. If the molecule has branching, because of that, surface area of the molecules decrease. Because of that decrease in surface area, attraction forces, dispersion forces decreases. It means geometry is also going to affect the dispersion force. Interaction energy of dispersion forces is proportional to 1 by r to the power of 6. These are the three different types of forces, and we call these forces as van der Waals forces. These forces exist among molecules and which do not have any charges. So we call them as van der Waals forces. Some other non-attractive forces are there. Those are called non-van der Waals forces. They are ion dipole force, ion induced dipole force, hydrogen bonding. Ion dipole force, it means one molecule is ion, another molecule is a non-polar polar molecule. The force of attraction between ion and non-polar molecule polar molecule is nothing but ion dipole force. Second, one molecule is ion, another molecule is a non-polar molecule. Because of the presence of ion, in the presence of ion, the molecule will develop some dipole, and that type of force is nothing but ion induced dipole force. You understood? Or I will repeat it. Ion dipole force. It means one part is ion. It may be Na plus, it may be Cl minus, like this. Ion is there, and another one molecule is a polar molecule. Na plus in the presence of HCl in the presence of Na plus, or HCl in the presence of Cl minus. It means one ion is there, one polar molecule is there. Ion, if it is positive, it is attracted towards the negative end of polar molecule. If it is negative, it will attract towards positive end of a polar molecule. This type of attraction nothing but ion dipole force. Second one, ion induced dipole force. It means one part is ion, another part is a non-polar molecule, but in the presence of this ion, that non-polar molecule develops a dipole moment or polarity, and the force of attraction between these two nothing but ion induced dipole force. And third one is very very important force, that is hydrogen bonding. It is an weak electrostatic force of attraction between hydrogen atom of the molecule and more electronegative atom of the same molecule or different molecule. This hydrogen develop a positive charge and electronegative atom develops a negative charge. The attraction between these two nothing but hydrogen bonding. And you are going to learn in detail about this hydrogen bonding in chemical bonding, so I don't want to go in detail about that. And these forces are non-van der Waals forces. Next one is thermal energy. The energy possessed by the molecules at particular temperature is called thermal energy. This thermal energy increases with rise in temperature. Thermal energy decreases with decrease in temperature. Thermal energy nothing but the kinetic energy possessed by the molecules, we can say. So thermal energy means the energy possessed by the particles or molecules at a particular temperature is called thermal energy. And already I told you there is a competition between intermolecular forces and thermal energy. If the thermal energy of the particles is more very high compared to attractive forces, that is intermolecular forces, then the matter is in the form of gases. If the thermal energy is less than intermolecular forces, or intermolecular forces have very strong are very strong compared to thermal energy, then the matter is in the form of solid. Okay, let's go for the gases.